Oh my goodness, wow. That's never happened before. Let's do that one again. Good morning, Tuvalu, and welcome back to Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 29, Operation -- Annihilate. Or as the real fans know it, Episode 29, Operation Annihilate. That's right, the Season 1 finale, regardless of production or release order. I don't know how common that is. I think that I don't know. I don't know what Seasons 2 is. But yeah, this is noteworthy because, for one, I'm still setting up the episode. Nope, that's Enterprise. That's what happens when I'm not really paying attention. Operation Annihilate. Pause it. Back to 0. Audio. Stereo. Nope, there we go. Back to 0. Full screen. 110%. Hide the mouse. There we go. Now you have the time bar. And I forgot to hide system output. Yeah, this is noteworthy for a few reasons. It is, of course, the Season 1 finale. We've been doing this for a while. Are we approaching 2 years? I really should have checked this earlier. No, go away. Playlist. This will not take long. Production order. The Cage streamed February of last year, so we're approaching 2 years of doing the watch-throughs. We finally finished Season 1, the longest of the TOS seasons. It is also the last Star Trek watch-along of the year, because next week we are starting our Lower Decks reviews, the same time that we do these, noon PST, Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight Time, whichever it is. Just Google, like, LA time now. I don't know. But yeah, January we should be picking back up with Season 2. But yeah, Operation Annihilate is, as I recall, a meh. It's a meh. Not nearly as good as the last episode. But hey, I should explain what we're doing in case for some reason you're watching Operation Annihilate having never seen any of these before. What you're doing is basically recording an audio commentary track live. So I will ramble a little bit so people can get set up. But in a little bit, we are basically going to sync up our videos. I can't just stream an episode of Star Trek for legal reasons, so it is bring your own video, although I will play a blurred version in the background just to help with the syncing. What we are going to do is a countdown. A 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and on go we all hit play and we're synced up. There's a link to Paramount Plus in the description. They play, at least at this moment in time, they play the remastered versions, as far as I can tell, which is also the version I am watching. It doesn't matter, or at least it shouldn't matter, for syncing up in times if you want to watch the originals. Just if I comment on an effect, I will be looking at the remastered one, which might matter. That might matter for this one, but I remember it being more practical effects heavy. But yeah, Operation Annihilate, as I said last week, this is the one where the best thing I remember about it is Sam Kirk's mustache. Actually, the best thing about it is modern Sam Kirk's mustache, because it's anachronistic. Yes, this is the episode that introduces Kirk's brother, Samuel Kirk. It is also the episode that kills Kirk's brother. It is the episode that introduces Kirk's nephew. And it is also the only episode to ever mention Kirk's nephew. I don't know, maybe TOS or Strange New Worlds does it. Just a bit of a weird one. That's what I remember. I really don't remember much else. So, today, we're going to find out. We're going to enshrine my opinions on this specific viewing as gospel permanent opinions forever, so that in 10 years someone can bring it up and I can be like, I don't remember, what the heck was that idiot talking about? Yeah, as mentioned before, I think it's time to get going. We are going to do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and on go, everybody hits play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And what did I do? We're good. I think I messed with my, stereo mode. I did. There you go. I hit some other button besides the space bar. I used to have my shortcuts to show and hide the episode on left bracket and right bracket, which in VLC Media Player is speed up and slow down, which was a problem when you're trying to sync up. By the way, next episode, are we still going to be doing production order, even though it's season 2? I have no idea. We'll figure out when we get there. Ask me again in January. I mean, I don't know why they're different colors, but there's something about this screen I really like. It looks nice. I like how when William Shatner just pointed at that, he went very zigzaggy. I think the whole thing is a straight line, but it looks like 4 planets just had a similar outbreak of insanity. Hey, look, there's a remastered effect. Wait, that's a ship? No, good, that is the sun. I was gonna say, what do you mean that's a ship? Have we used the tractor beam yet? Because Kirk brought up the tractor beam, but I can't actually recall it ever being used. And I wouldn't have thought it was just like something the random 60s audience would know about. But maybe it is. I wonder how many... Hang on, that's not a Denovan ship. That's the... What are they called? J-class freighters? That's a reuse of the ship Harry Mudd uses in the remastered edition. I think it might be a different ship in the other version. But yeah, I wonder how many people who are like fans of Strange New Worlds come to this episode, which introduces Sam Kirk, and then never do TOS again. I love, just William Shatner's sweating of the brow. Because it's supposed to be there by the sun and it's getting hot, which I don't know about that. But he's like the only actor who doesn't have any sweat, so it almost looks like a parody that he's like breaking under the pressure, you know? Yeah, another thing is the hull temperature wouldn't really fall that fast. It's actually extremely difficult to get rid of heat in space because radiation, the only method available to you, is super inefficient. So if you look at like the ISS or something, they've got the massive solar panels, but they'll also often have other massive panels that point like the other way that are the radiators. They're just meant to try and radiate as much heat as possible. Here's another detail I can't remember, is how much of Sam's family exists in Strange New Worlds. I think he has a family. He's probably got a kid, because we're like 3 or 4 years out from this episode, and the kid's older than like 4. Man, when's the next Strange New World? Oh my gosh, my voice is cracking today. When's the next Strange New Worlds? I feel like it's been ages since that came out. Is that just me? Season 2. Release date. No, it was only last year. Have they announced Season 3? No. There we go. What a long year. Operation Annihilate. I've always been confused why there are 2 dashes in this title. Okay, over a century ago. I was gonna say, why would you colonize this planet in, like, a straight line? Couldn't you have just evacuated the planet? Like, surely you knew this was a thing. Unless they've just discovered the madness, but it seems like they were treating it as a known phenomenon. That's not, uh, the lady whose name I can never say, the computer voice. Is it? I know her name. I know how it's written. I just don't know how you say her name. I'd say, but I gotta go back to work. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first 6 minutes, Uncle Sam. You could always watch the video, later. Uncle Sam, is it you? Are you the Uncle Sam? You're in this episode. Boop, 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 boop. It's a very slow start, I will say that. It doesn't, I don't even feel like we're building atmosphere, we're just kind of taking a while. Sensors. So sensors report the expected number of humans. Okay, so the expected number of humans are there, so no one's died, but they're quiet. What exactly does a quiet life sign look like? I guess if you're expecting them to be, like, all mad and running around. It's a good use of whatever location this is. As always, it feels like location filming with TOS, but, and I don't know why. It looks like it's the same film. I think it's just that it's not a set, and their sets are generally pretty obvious. Although I'm curious, are we saying museum or playground? What is this set? Both in real life and in the episode. I bet it's a college campus, though. A billion inhabitants in a century. In 1 century, this shipping trade route city has grown to 1/8 the population of the human race. I don't know about that one, guys. Oh yeah, I forgot. These guys are kind of funny. I wish their dialogue was more clear, but it's funny about, like, the murderous mob that's begging you to, like, run away. You know, like, it could be more interesting. I just think it's slow and you can't hear the dialogue too well. No. They didn't even seem that concerned either. Like, you should have done the dialogue more explicit, because they were saying, like, get out of here. I remember as well in my first watch through, my interpretation of this scene is always, like, essentially a bunch of xenophobes, like, trying to chase you off the planet. Well, sounds like they're being violently stimulated to me. Okay, I think there's just a lot. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's just a weird one that doesn't click for me. I think that's Sam's wife, though. Is that Sam on the floor? Do we get to see the best facial hair in Star Trek? This is a big house, though. It's nice in a, like, it's TOS and simplistically decorated way. There we go. There's the picturesque 1970s porn star, which is weird for the 60s. He plays it well, though, Kirk. I mean, Sam is also playing it well. But as much as I make fun of the dated look, this is William Shatner's second time where he's had to do, like, kind of a serious, sad scene, but he's done it well. You know, the best thing about Sam Kirk in this episode is that we get modern Sam Kirk, who also looks like a 70s porn star. But he owns it, too. Which anyone with that mustache always owns it. And I gotta wonder, though, because I know people. Like, I work with someone who's got that mustache, and I always wonder, like, surely you know, if you have, like, a 70s porn star mustache, you also look in the mirror and see a 70s porn star. Like, surely you know. Or do you just not, and that's why you have the mustache? Like, I've always wanted to know. I mean... Okay, that's good logic. I was gonna say the angry mob we encountered, but they wouldn't be in the vents. Look! Oh my god! Spock did it! Spock did a logic, guys! It only took 30 episodes, but Spock done did a logic. Oh, he grows up so slow. Agonizingly slow. Look, we love Spock, right? Everyone loves Spock and his legacy. But God, is that character not the legacy and, like, the reputation he has? Oh, I guess the mother wasn't the voice of the computer because she's standing right there. And we saw the actress for the mother. I don't remember seeing her. Like, it's Majette? I've never known how to pronounce that name. I don't know if that was the best way to break it. She's not too fussed, though. I mean, it makes sense that Kirk has to, like, be the captain in this situation and not really dwell on his brother. But it is a little disappointing, especially with the extra context of Strange New Worlds, and that we as the audience now kind of know Sam and connect with him more, that you really don't get anything at his death, you know? Like, if Strange New Worlds had aired this episode instead, there'd be, like, huge backlash, I imagine, about how little we treated the death, but, obviously not so much this episode's fault, but it is a little disappointing, you know? But for how slow we're moving, God, I bet you could have had something about the brother. It also would have helped if the first time we'd, like, learned of the brother wasn't 2 minutes before he died. You know, I've never thought too much about it, but those dials that always, like, jiggle on the medical records, would they actually jiggle if you set up a real-life sign thing like that? I mean, I know a lot of them are nonsensical. Like, what exactly is, like, blood, you know, on the meter? I want another shot of the screen now, because there are just some weird labels on those bars if you've never read them. I mean, this actress is definitely giving it her all. Oh, there we go. Lungs, brain, temp, cell rate, blood, and blood. What is cell rate? Does it really fluctuate that much? Yeah, I don't usually think much about William Shatner's acting, but he's got some good, slower scenes in recent episodes. Yeah, Kirk, you're not watching after that kid. I'm sorry. Is there anything you can do, Kirk? No, actually, not Kirk, sorry, McCoy, maybe a little slower. I don't actually want to take care of the kid, you know? You know how hard it is to work with children? They're well done scenes. They are. It's just... I mean, it's probably the 60s thing, but, like, why would you even add the family plot line if you're not gonna follow through with the consequences? I don't know. It wouldn't have even been the worst time to have Kirk have to care for the son, because it's the season finale. So at the start of season 2, if Kirk just has, like, his brother's kid, I feel like it wouldn't be as disruptive, because you'd assume, you know, he just came in between seasons. I'm actually going to look it up. I wonder if that was the idea, and for some reason they changed it. Was Kirk... no, not Kirk. I think it's Peter. Supposed to be in season 2. No, that's Into Darkness. Maybe it's not Peter. We'll see if he mentions it at the end of the episode, what happens to the kid. Because I feel like he might send him off somewhere. Also, Scotty's here for some reason. See, this is a set. It's a great set, but it's not location work, and I don't know why I can tell. Oh, that was well done, actually. I guess you had the string just going around the corner, but because you had him go, like, down from that ledge and then to somewhere with a higher ceiling, it didn't really feel like a wire, you know? I mean, I can see one of those wires, but that was the only one. And again, you know, Blu-ray remastered, yada yada. Although I'm always confused in the remastered editions why they don't remove the wires. Because, like, usually you could, unless it's a super obvious one. I mean, is it... I mean, like, yeah, you have to scan it, but it really does look like some sort of life as we know it, you know? I mean, it just looks like a big cell, or maybe some sort of sea life. If you ignore the fact it's clearly some sort of, like, mold. Oh, what's that audio mixing? What was that? The, like, quiet sounds were really amplified for some reason. Is that the button I hit at the start of the video? Okay, to recap, 19 minutes in, we came to this planet. There's some madness going on. Kirk's brother died, and his sister-in-law died. And then we found the aliens. I guess stuff's happening. It's not dragging. It's just kind of slow, and there's not a lot to digest in the slower times. Like, often when you have a slow episode that works, there's either an amazing atmosphere, or there's things to digest and think upon, and this episode doesn't really have either.
What are we watching?
Operation Annihilate. It's finally the finale of Season 1.
I don't remember that one.
It's very forgettable. It's most memorable for introducing Kirk's brother... But not that, the fact that Kirk's brother has a 70s porn star mustache.
Was this the one where we find out Kirk has a brother?
Yes.
Like,
yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Because we meet his son?
Yep.
Oh, that's why what I remember about it is I was just like, yes, Kirk has a brother because Kirk's brother has a son.
Yep, pretty much.
Hi, Spock!
He's not doing good. He looks like he's getting a colonoscopy or something, but...
Why do you know what it looks like to get a colonoscopy?
I'm just making a guess.
Cool.
It's amazing that there's no puncture wound in, like, the shirt or a mark on his back. Maybe it was too expensive to poke a hole in the back of a shirt, but who knows. I mean, there is sort of an air of, I guess, stakes. You know, people are dying. This planet's at stake, but we aren't really connected enough to anyone except Spock to really care. And they're not gonna kill Spock, you know? I mean, maybe in a season finale, but we know, you know, Spock lasts. It's also interesting thinking about it that, you know, we learn eventually that heat kills people, kills these things. That's why he went to the sun. But a fever isn't enough to kill them. Because, you know, we'd run a fever. Unless it's suppressing the fever, which would be a clue you'd think that the medical department could detect. That the body isn't running a fever, and you'd probably try that. But that would imply that you need enough heat to, like, actually damage the body. Which, I mean, is something you could do and then repair it if it's not for too long, but I don't know. It's just a bit weird. You can buy into it enough for the sake of a story, though. Also, it always bothers me that whenever they have these syringes, it looks like there's blood in it. Like, you wouldn't inject blood, you'd inject medicine. I think most syringes, like, the stuff inside is clear. Hang on, that's not what Spock vitals look like. That's not the K3, that's the temp. 95? I guess that's a little cold, yeah. Well, hopefully we find out exactly how hot you need it to be. Goes up to what? Wait, is that logarithmic? Does that say 10 to the power of 2? All better. Spock. Sounds like it. That is a calm, collected man who's never gonna snap. I mean, we've also learned that apparently pain is just... Vulcans have a much higher pain threshold, but... Look, that temp is rock steady, though. That's your clue. That's the only time I've ever seen a dial not move. Well, let's take that risk. Let's take no precautions whatsoever. Oh, no, there we go. He's doing the right thing. I don't remember that. There you go, Kirk. I'm surprised. Well done. Maybe give him something to, like, read, though. Like, he can work in here. You can put him in the brig. Wait, I thought it was 1 billion colonists. 1 million is better in a century. It's only like 4 times the size of my city. Although, don't get me wrong, it's still a big city. Oh, no, there were 1 million people in that one city. Bones, aren't you forgetting there are 999 million people outside that city? Whoop, sorry. Like, I don't know. Slower pace is fine when there's a reason for it. This is exactly the sort of episode where you could be, like, on your phone off and on for it, but still be absolutely following along and not missing a thing. You think maybe we should have stronger restraints that could contain all of our crew members, or the random aliens we might encounter. It is. Oh, there we go. That's good enough. I'm like, that's the only line you need. I like how apparently Spock pulls this stuff frequently enough that Scotty just knew. Which, to be fair, Strange New Worlds, like, he actually does pull it enough to the point where they're like, if you ever do this again, you're out of Starfleet. And then I'm sure he's going to do it 5 more times in Strange New Worlds, let alone in TOS. Modern Star Trek and its propensity for just mutiny as a culture. It's real annoying. Actually, I don't think you did. Wait, Scotty actually knows him in Strange New Worlds, doesn't he? Yeah, Spotty probably has seen him mutiny like 12 times. That is I was about to say he's right until I don't believe they can do more. I mean, he's already compromised. He's got a point there, but... like, they could kill you. You were so close, Spock, to a second logic. In fact, who wrote this episode? Because they're actually doing really well with Spock, which is surprisingly unusual. Even Kirk as well seems more logical than he usually is. Like, I think a normal episode would have just had Kirk go, yeah, right, and then take Spock out of bed. But this one didn't. It's written by Stephen W. And now there's an ad on screen. Karabatsas, who wrote... actually, he's a script consultant. What is a script consultant? What did... a story consultant. This is the only one he wrote. He rewrote Miri heavily. And was one of the many writers that contributed to The City on the Edge of Forever. You know what? Suddenly Kirk's moments of good performance and this makes sense. He left the show this year. Last episode he worked on was Space Sea. This year is in 1967. Yeah, I mean, he's got a few good ones. You hear that? We're already forgetting how I had to take my headphones off for Space Sea. But what is a story consultant? I want to know. This episode could have been like a 15-20 minute Lower Decks. It wouldn't have been funny, but it also would have fit that time slot. Like, how could we improve this? Maybe if we give these creatures, give them a voice, you know? Maybe if we could somehow give them a reason that's more sympathetic. I don't know, it'd be real difficult to justify. Or, like, we could basically give the creatures some really difficult situation that we could then contemplate, or be like, what they're doing is horrible, but, you know, what else could they do? You could have focused more on Kirk's family, and maybe some stuff like that. There's just nothing to think about in the downtime. Hey, wait, I just registered. That was the Amok Time music we just got. Or like the little flares. The da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't think we've had that music yet. And I thought it was from Amok Time, which we don't get till next season. Amok Time is produced in like 7 episodes. I know it's the season 1 premiere, or season 2 premiere for release order, but Cat's Paw is the premiere for production order. Hilariously, we would be doing Cat's Paw, the Halloween episode, 2 days after Halloween, if it weren't for Lower Decks. Because of Lower Decks, we'll be like 3 months late. So has Spock done more in like 5 minutes? What? That's what I said. Looks like one cell. But, oh, he scanned it, and when it's unlike anything we've ever seen. But back to the point, Spock in like 5 minutes has done more than what the entire science department did in their lab in several hours. Okay, sure, he has a full cell, but, like, they had the scans and the fibers, and they couldn't figure out it was a single brain cell. Also, is it so weird that you could figure out that heat killed it? 'Cause it's alive. Enough heat would kill anything. Sure, turning that to a treatment would be a little harder, but... Don't you have an analysis to write? Yes, let's leave Spock totally unattended. In fact, let's also put the creature in Spock's care. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Oh my god, how much of the episode is left? Good lord. This is a long one. Also, Nurse Chapel has not a single line yet. Come on. Give us a line. Okay, he's tried temperature. There we go. Wait, what is it then? Good lord, that's a lot. What does it? Is it light? Was that it? Yeah, it was. Okay, no, I remember now. It was the light. Why would the guy in the shuttlecraft have been freed? I don't know. How much light is it? Would you really not have shown, like, a light to examine the creature under the microscope or something? We'll see, we'll see. It was a billion, right? It was a billion. We've kind of just focused in on this one city. Okay. Denova. Habitable. Okay, Deva's main city, population 100,000. See, no, here's something in the slow burn you could give, is this moral conundrum. You know, they should have introduced this like 20 minutes ago. It is still a little simplistic, like, is morality math? Which I think I've seen in like some 60s, 70s Star Trek Doctor Who, where maybe we haven't as many things exploring the topic. Like, it would have been basic at this point in time. It's kind of like a yes it is or no it's not. You already know going in as a modern audience. But that still would have at least given us something to talk about. I also kind of wonder how we heated the thing up without loads of light in like a little glass tube. Light is radiation, by the way. It's bright. Okay, I know Spock is going through it in a very characteristic way, but I love... We've tried heat, we've tried radiation. What else does the sun have? Basically, anybody will tell you it's bright, but Spock goes to, well, it exists. Thank you, Spock. Existence. He even says it radiates. I mean, if you ignore the fact that, you know, they were in the light. Watch me. I cannot... Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I can't wait to see them shine a flashlight on 1 million people, but... I bet someone, if you actually cared, you could figure out how much light that those satellites would produce from orbit. And then we could figure out how much light it takes to kill these creatures and learn it's the amount of light in, like, an LED. But, you know, we'll just roll with it. Oh, there you go. 1 million candles per square inch. That's a lot of wax. I'm sure that bathing the planet in enough light that someone in a closed, darkened area would still have an effect when the creature is also inside their body. I'm sure that's going to have no ill effects. Okay, look, your TV can't make that much light, but it's funny seeing it just be a normal light. I'm glad you can tell. It's light though. Like, I guess it could maybe blind them. I don't know, like 1,000,000 candles is a lot. I guess eye damage, but please tell me, yeah, actually. I almost want to type into Google, what can 1,000,000 cubic candles per square inch or whatever do? Yes, I know a candle is a unit of measurement, but it's funny to pretend it's a wax candle. Like, what are they gonna do? Not, like, use it? Even if it murders Spock, like, if this doesn't work, they're gonna have to kill everybody anyway. I know usually I'm against this sort of reckless action, but I genuinely don't understand what the alternative would be. You could slowly ramp up the light so that the actual inhabitants would presumably close their eyes or like shield their eyes, and then they'd still get bathed in the light. I guess that is an option, rather than just instantly making everyone look at the sun. Oh, okay, I remember the solution they go with, actually. It is quite a nice twist. Because I've been thinking, how do they actually get this to work? So yeah, as much as even I was prepared for this, like, reckless action, I guess this is unnecessary. I'll let the episode do it in case you're forgetting or you haven't realized, but it's a nice twist. So this light is bright enough that they need goggles outside the room so it can leave the chamber. And literally every one on this planet, every single, like, cell is going to be affected by this light, even if they're, like, underground, in a basement, whatever. So is everyone else on the ship now totally blinded? I feel like they have interesting concepts, like Spock is blind now. It's like it was going to take 5 minutes to do that test, and you still waited. What kind, though? That's not what he said, though. Okay, actually, I'm going to take a step back. So McCoy said he threw the entire spectrum of light at Spock. Now, as I said, light is just a form of radiation. Most people know this. But we specifically said that the thing wouldn't die to radiation, even that would kill a human. And he said the spectrum of light, not radiation. So we can assume that he threw the entire visible spectrum at the creature, right? He didn't throw, like, ultraviolet or infrared at it. But apparently it will die to a wavelength of light that humans can't see. Now, if humans can't see it, it's technically not light, I don't think. But if it's not light, it's definitely falls under the category of radiation that we would have tried against the creature. Infrared is like heat, so we tried that. That didn't work. UV light is something that would murder a human, so presumably we tried that, and we're not going to use that. It's a form of light that humans can't see. Okay. It's close to a clever twist. It really is. Well, it's a red light! I can see it! I can see it, Kirk! It's red! Like, surely it's just as bright, right? Just because it's one wavelength doesn't mean it's dimmer. Right? It also does imply, because it's red, that it is infrared light, and so it is actually heat that did it. It also feels awful on your spine. Ah, well. Also, every plant is dying, too. Whoops-a-doodle. I'm also thinking how Vulcans evolved in a desert, and I'm trying to figure out if that means Spock would be more or less likely to be able to see the kind of light. Yes, it was. Don't BS him. He didn't wait 5 minutes for a test result. He also failed to realize something fairly obvious, and yeah, no, it's Bones' fault. Sure, Bones objected to the test. Actually, yeah, you know what? That's enough. Oh, well, Kirk, I'm a Vulcan. Everyone should know that we heal our blindness. And we just never knew. And nobody on the ship knew this. No, I'm not buying that one either. Nobody on Vulcan has ever gone temporarily blind in a similar manner. McCoy. Yeah. See that's how you do friendly banter, guys. He didn't even bring up his race once. Welp. I mean, to be fair, I guess it's not actually a comment on his race, it's a comment on his biology. It's still shocking how unqualified Bones is to perform medicine on Spock. Like, yeah, TOS. You know what? That's the perfect way to wrap up season 1. The perfect way to wrap up these reviews for the next 10 to 11 weeks. The weekend after Christmas is a little busy with Doctor Who and then family Christmas stuff, so I don't know, we might have to kick that into January. But TOS, man, you know, there's good in there. There's a lot of nonsense in there. That's the end of my sentence. We end season 1 with a dud. I think definitely a dud. I've said before, it was slow, but it didn't have anything to engage you in its slow pace. Like, it's interesting because a lot of the scenes I feel shouldn't have been faster. You know, individually, I don't think any scene should have really been sped up. we dwelled on some things longer than we had to necessarily. But, like, you know, Kirk reacting to the death of his family, even though we don't really know his family, was treated very well. Those were all great scenes. I think we just need to replace some lingering with just a few things to give us something to muse over, either the morality or move the episode around so Spock is blinded earlier, and then the lab tests, like when they're doing the lab to figure out what kills the creature, why not have Spock be blind, and that's when they're doing the labs. So, in fact, that works better because you cure Spock of the creature, and they decide they can't let everyone go blind. They still have time. They might try and refine it, so to see if they can anything do. You still have the complication of Spock trying to work, but being blind. But then it's not an issue that he's not supervised or he's not restrained. There's no risk to the ship. Spock's just blind, and he can still help, just less effective. And you can then dwell on the loss of Spock's capabilities. Like, he can still serve Starfleet, but he was the best officer of the fleet, and he now can't do a lot of what he does, because, like, his job is very visual. You know, he's constantly looking in that little scope of his. And then we can actually have things to dwell on. And then what they discover in the labs is that you only needed this certain wavelength. Which I guess we're saying happens to be the only and exact type of wavelength that those magnesium satellites emits. I've just registered that. If they did say magnesium, I have seen that reaction. It is very bright and very white. Whoops-a-doodle. A filter. Light filter. I don't know. I guess you can make it work. But yeah, it needed something to grip us, because otherwise it was just one of those slow, dull episodes. But next up, we've got Cat's Paw. Probably, it might be, we have a muck time, which is the release order episode 1, which is a good episode, although I'm probably going to complain about Stranger Worlds a lot in it. Or we have Cat's Paw, which is just some spooky Halloween fun. That also, I've remembered, has Federation money, so let's forget about that. Like, production order is better. But after season 1, it doesn't matter so much. You still get a better balance of when your, like, effects-heavy episodes are. I still feel we tend to backload a lot of our effects-heavy ones. And so you don't get as much of a mix of episodes when it's release order, just because it takes time to do the effects. And it's kind of confusing, like, the titles of having 2 episode numbers kind of confuses people. It's not good for views. But at the same time, like, yeah, might as well do it properly. You know, we've started to get people to show up for these, which is, you know, nice. But we'll see. If all you're here for is the watch-alongs, January, you know, come back, look around for that. We'll be in a different daylight savings time. Might be the last time I do daylight savings. I can't for the life of me remember. But otherwise, we will be doing Lower Decks next week, noon PST. Not watch-alongs, but the reviews I usually do. No Doctor Who tomorrow, because Caden can't make it. But yeah, we'll be continuing on. And of course, if you still want the watch-alongs, not the reviews, we will be watching along Doctor Who on Sundays at this usual time, just not tomorrow. Until Christmas, where we do the Christmas special, and then it's another big gap to, like, March? April? I don't remember. It hasn't been announced, but we know when the finale takes place, and if you work backwards from there, it's like May or June or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I will say thank you all very much for watching.